All right, guys, we're gonna go over the steps of a remodel. This is gonna break down all the steps of what's gonna go into the house when you're remodeling it to flip. I actually started out my real estate career working for a contractor and then working on the flips myself. So the first like 5 or 6 flips actually, I did all the work. I laid the flooring, painted with my father-in-law. Yeah, we basically did everything when it comes to flipping a house. So I learned a lot in that process. Probably wasn't the best use of my time, but now that I know all of that stuff moving forward, going into my career now, I know the remodel process very, very well, and it's hard for a contractor or a subcontractor to take advantage of me. I know my prices, I know the process, and I know what goes into flipping a house. I pretty much could go take my general contractor's license test tomorrow and pass it because I've done it so much, and now I'm involved in development as well. So basically, I'm gonna break down the steps of a remodel. A lot of people talk about the order when you're in the contracting business, of order of operations, basically of what goes before the next when you're going to remodel a house. So the first thing is demo and cleanup. So depending on the scope of work, this is basically going over a full remodel where you're doing everything to the house. But demo and cleanup obviously is going in, taking out the flooring, the cabinets, depending on your scope of work, again, it's gonna change. But taking everything out, cleaning up the house, getting yourself a fresh slate. That's the demo process. Rough really stands for anything that is behind the walls. So that's the framing, plumbing, and electrical that you don't see. That's why it's called rough. It's because it's behind the walls before the drywall goes in. So if you're putting in can lights, if you are remodeling the bathrooms and doing the plumbing, putting new valves, new shower fixtures, and electrical, if you have to rewire the house, new electrical panel, or if it's, again, just adding can lights, that is all the rough work that has to be done. That's the very first thing you do after doing the rough. Of course, you're gonna have to have a scope of work, a layout, an idea of what you're doing with the house. That has to come first, so when you start the work, you know what's going on behind the walls. After that, you are covering up all your rough work and doing your drywall. So you're doing all the patches, depending on, if you did some can lights, there's gonna be holes in the wall. So you're gonna be doing all of your drywall and patchwork. That is the next step. From there, usually we do the flooring next. We like to do the flooring before the paint. We like to push the paint off towards the end of the project, because if you have a bunch of trades that have to come in after the paint is done, most of the time they're going to be scuffing the walls. There's more work to be done, so then that just creates more work for the painter at the end to come in and touch those things up, and then he's just going to charge you more. So we try to push the paint off to the very end of the project if possible. So we come in and do our flooring, our baseboards, our doors, all of the interior finishes that go along with that. And then again, between the paint and the finishes, it could be swapped. So the finishes to me are the tile. So if you're remodeling the bathrooms, all the tile around the shower surrounds, the flooring, the cabinets, the countertops, the toilets, the light fixtures, getting all of that stuff put back together. There's a lot that really goes into it. All your doorknobs, light fixtures, everything, even outlets and switches is part of that. Every flip we do, even if we do a very cosmetic job, we always change the outlets and switches. It's something very cheap for us, but it also creates a good product, and people recognize that all the outlets and switches are new. From there, again, then we would paint the house. And then the last step is landscape. Landscape is on the exterior, and a lot of times, like I said, with the paint, if you have trades coming in and you do the landscape in the very beginning, they're gonna be trampling all over your new grass and tearing it up basically. So landscape is always at the very, very end. That breaks down the steps of a remodel. We did a really quick overview, but if you have any more questions, you want to go into detail, put your questions in the comments and we'll get to them. And if this is valuable to you, please subscribe to our channel.